Hi there, it's Jeff here from the Wetsuit Centre talking to you today about the Oneill Psycho 1 series for winter 2015 into 2016. The Psycho 1 covers all of the ages and genders, so it's a wetsuit like the Super Freak that's basically available for women, kids and men. Bit of a difference this year, the Psycho 1 is now available in a fuse entry, which is a chest entry wetsuit as well. Okay, so it used to be pretty much only available in the back entry, which is a Zen zip style. I'll go through both for you, but now they've opened it up to the fuse entry, so the chest entry as well. That made it a little bit similar to the Oneill Hyper Freak, which came about a couple of years ago. A few fundamental differences, but quite a similar wetsuit. So what they've done with the Hyper Freak for winter is made it a zip-free wetsuit, and we've done a separate video on that as well. So the Psycho 1, as with the Hyper Freak, is all about performance. It's a performance wetsuit, meaning that it hasn't got loads of thermal lining, air-insulated neoprene, liquid taping inside and out, and all the bells and whistles. It's kind of a bit more stripped down to make sure it keeps you nice and warm, but gives you maximum amount of flexibility as well. And that's kind of been the ethos of the Psycho 1 for quite a few years now, since it was reintroduced to the Oneill range. The wetsuit itself is 100% made of the Techno Butter neoprene, which I'll show you and talk you through in a second. But just to give you an indication of what each suit looks like, this is the kids' wetsuit that we've got in the Psycho 1. All about sort of styling, minimal panelling, really good quality neoprene and loads of flexibility and movement. And that works across all of the sort of ages and genders as well. It looks great in a women's wetsuit. Obviously the women's wetsuit is specifically built and designed for ladies, so it's cut differently to suit the woman's body shape. But again, it looks really fantastic. No smooth skin, just one big piece of neoprene. And now you've got it in the chest entry system as well. One on the floor. And that's basically the fuse entry chest zip system there. Works in a really similar way, but I'll talk you through that in a second. But a really great idea, and it'll be really popular this year, I'm sure. So what I'll do, I'll grab the kids' wetsuit for you, and I'll talk you through sort of the ins and outs of the Psycho 1 series. Okay, so the Psycho 1, as I say, all about performance, this wetsuit. As such, it's made of the Techno Butter 2 neoprene. And what that is, it's basically Ultraflex neoprene, a really lightweight neoprene. The difference is the jersey that goes over the top of it. The actual sort of lycra that goes on the top of it has 80% less cotton, which makes it incredibly lightweight, but also makes it really flexible. And because there's less cotton, it dries a lot quicker as well. Less absorbent, dries quicker, lighter, more flexible. So it's a really fantastic innovation and feels fantastic when you've got the wetsuit on. That's the Techno Butter. It's exclusive to Oneill for at least the next few years anyway. And that runs the whole way through the suit. The Techno Butter 2, the difference between the Techno Butter 2 and the Techno Butter 1 is basically sort of lining on the inside, takes less sand, gets less sort of sand trapped in the actual wetsuit, meaning it's easier to clean and will stay lighter as well, but also it's less prone to having Velcro stick against it, so less baubbling and messing up of the inside of the wetsuit as well, so it's sort of anti-Velcro. So that's the Techno Butter 2 neoprene running the whole way through. It's a 5'4" in the winter style, so you've got 5mm on the lower body and 4mm around the upper body and the arms. Okay, so a good thick winter wetsuit, and this wetsuit will keep you warm even in sort of like UK winters. But if you really feel the cold, obviously you don't get any thermal lining, so this is kind of more geared up for people that aren't too bad and just want a really flexible wetsuit. So that's a 5mm neoprene the whole way through the centre, 4mm on the arms. The seams are liquid taped and glued and blind stitched. So what you have basically is a stitching on the inside, and then on the outside it's then glued shut and then taped with this sort of liquid rubber taping over the seams. That basically just means there's no possible way any water is going to get through these seams. So if it's a good fitting wetsuit, around the neck, around the chest, under the arms and everything, that should be pretty much keeping water out of the wetsuit, apart from obviously when you sort of heavy duck dive or if you fall off or anything, you are going to get water in the suit, but it should flush pretty quickly and should stay pretty sort of almost dry when you get out of the wetsuit. So that's going to help you keep warmer, and any basically any warmth that leaves your body will be trapped within the neoprene, and that's going to insulate you and keep you warmer. Liquid taping the whole way through the suit. Duraflex knee pads around the knees, which just stop any sort of wear and tear on the knees. Make sure that the suit gets as much longevity as possible. And that's really important with sort of kids that are learning to surf, that kind of thing as well, because obviously you use your knees quite a lot, and the suits do get damaged unless you've got something robust to stop it. That is pretty much everything going on the outside of the wetsuit. All of the seams are specifically placed and designed to make sure they give you minimal restriction. So the suit itself is incredibly stretchy, and you shouldn't feel any seams sort of pulling you back or restricting you in any way. The entry systems then is the key fundamental difference between this year and last year. You've got the standard Zen zip system, which in essence is the back zip system. And what that does is the actual back zip is sewn over the top of the inside of the wetsuit. What you've got, as you open up the back zip, that's sewn over the top of the inside of the wetsuit. So this back panel is the actual wetsuit itself. That goes up and over your head with a sort of collar here. So you get in here basically, this goes up and over your head, around your neck, and what that means is that any water coming in through your neck or through your zip is met with this back panel rather than going into the suit, and it's flushed out through the drain hole here at the bottom. You can see that little drain hole basically. And that zip itself is a waterproof zip, so it shouldn't get any water through, but if it does, it's not going against your skin, it's going against the flap and out through the drain hole. The Zen zip system has been around for quite a few years. A few other people have had a go at sort of making something similar, or the whole bat wing thing, but really fantastic back zip entry system. Nice and easy to get on and off. Downsides of a back zip, obviously, that you do have a bit of restriction because the zip won't move. Okay, so you have got a little bit of sort of an issue there. But having said that, you know, the back entry systems have their benefits as well. Very easy to get on and off. And really good at keeping out water as well, and a bit more adjustable around the neck as well, so you can, if it's a bit tight, you can undo it. And that's pretty much everything going on with the Psycho 1 in terms of sort of key features. The other thing that's worth mentioning is the chest entry system, which is new for this year. Now the chest entry, the actual suit is pretty much the same, but with the chest entry system, all you've got basically is a very similar thing, with the actually the entry system being sewn over the top of the inside of the wetsuit itself, but rather than obviously getting through the back, you're just getting through the chest. Okay, so you've got a toggle here which clips down. The fuse entry system, okay, is sewn over the top of the inside of the wetsuit again. So you're getting in through the neck, which makes it harder to get in and out of. But having said that, if you kind of turn the wetsuit inside out down to the waist, put it on like a pair of trousers and up and over your body, it's not that hard to get your head around at all. Okay, now the chest entry system, as I say, opens up nice and wide. You get in here, and the actual chest zip system itself, or the closure system itself, goes up and over your head, pulls down, and then zips across the front. So the inside of the wetsuit is basically underneath this entry system, so if any water comes in through the collar or up through the side of the zip, instead of going into the wetsuit, it's met with that panel of neoprene and then drained out through the side or through the drain hole around the back of the wetsuit here. Okay. Benefits of a chest zip then over a back zip. Back zip being the easy one to get on and off and more adjustable around the collar. The chest zip, just a bit more tricky to get on and off, but once you get the hang of it, you've got an unbroken collar around the neck. So although you can't adjust it, sometimes it seals the wetsuit a little bit better, so you've got less chance of flush throughs. But also you've got no zip running down the back of the wetsuit, and that obviously is going to give you unrestricted movement throughout the back, which is going to promote a bit more flexibility throughout the back of the wetsuit. How much you'd notice that, I don't know. It depends on your sort of preference. But a lot of people sort of do gravitate towards the chest zip these days. And a lot of the time it is an age thing and a size thing. You know, it's obviously if you're a big guy, it's going to be a bit harder to get into a chest entry wetsuit. If you're older and less flexible, again, the benefits of getting into a back zip might sort of lure you in. If you're a bit younger, a bit more flexible, then a lot of that seems to be the general trend. A lot of the sort of younger crew will go for the chest entry suits. Okay, so that is pretty much the Psycho 1 range for 2015 to 2016. Won't turn the suit inside out, it's really straightforward. It's basically just stitching and Technobutter 2 neoprene. This is a ladies suit, great looking suit, Zen zip system. They don't have the option of a chest entry Psycho 1 for ladies. You have in the next suit up, which is a Psycho Tech, but just the Zen zip for the ladies wetsuit. So that's pretty much everything going on with the Psycho 1 series for winter 2015 to 2016. Got a bit more expensive, as wetsuits seem to do every year, but I don't know, the Oneill range has held pretty true for a long time now, but this year everything's getting about sort of £10 more expensive, just due to sort of costs, worldwide costs. But definitely worth it still really good value for money, just over sort of £200. I think you're sort of talking about £220, £230. And for a wetsuit of that quality, you know, it's going to keep you nice and warm, give you loads of flexibility. It's definitely a good investment.